Oh no, Barack is not pleased. Democrats' support for Harris dropped after they hit her all fall. Jesse Watters has shocked everyone by leaving Fox News, which no one saw coming. People in the media are buzzing about the news, and everyone wants to know what the famous speaker might do next. People are shocked that Jesse Watters is leaving Fox News. Jesse Watters is a well-known face on Fox News, has done something that fans and watchers can't believe. After years of being an important figure on the network, his sudden departure has sparked interest and brought up a lot of questions. His leaving Fox News marks the end of an era, but it's even more interesting to wonder where he goes from here. People are dying to know what will happen next with Jesse Watters because the story isn't over yet. Why did this change so quickly? What does Watters have planned for the future? We should look at the reasons why Jesse Watters quit Fox News. Mr. Jesse Watters. Jesse Bailey Watters is a well-known Right American TV host and political commentator. He is known for speaking out against injustice and rising quickly in the Fox News network. In Right media, he has become known over the years as someone who stirs up trouble, having heated debates about political and social problems all the time. Watters' success has been mostly based on his job at Fox News, where he is one of the most recognizable faces on the network. Watters started working in the media soon after finishing. In 2002, he became a production assistant for Fox News. His big break came when he got a job as a director for Bill O'Reilly's high-profile Fox News show, The O'Reilly Factor. This is where Watters started to improve the way he did street interviews, which would become his signature style. Since 2004, when he started hosting the Man on the Street parts on The O'Reilly Factor as a guest host, Watters has been known all over the country. In these pieces called Watters World, Watters would often stop people on the street and ask them about current events, politics, and social problems. The piece went viral because of how harsh and sometimes hostile Watters was when interviewing people and how well he could show how ignorant the public was about politics. A number of people say that they were highly edited and that he takes advantage of people who don't know much. At the same time, they would still love and worship his shows. For Fox News viewers who believe in conservative ideas, the humor and tone of the pieces in the show were often connected to those ideas. And Watters became a TV star because of how funny the bits were. In 2015, his Watters World show aired once a month on Fox News. In January 2017, it became a Saturday night show. Jesse Watters has always been the one who starts fights and complaints because of the things he says and does. 2016 was a memorable year because Watters was in a Chinatown episode on Channel 5 in New York City. Watters was accused of making fun of Chinese Americans by using racial stereotypes, which caused outrage across the country. People asked Watters the wrong question when he asked if karate was the only sport the kids did there and if they ever bowed down to him. A lot of people in politics, like Mayor Bill de Blasio and Asian American advocacy groups, have talked about talking heads. They have different issues, like how Watters spreads harmful stereotypes. Watters said in a statement that the piece was meant to be funny and not offensive in response to the backlash. He did not, however, say sorry in an official way. The audience's smiles turned into frowns most of the time because of how things were handled and how nice everyone was. In April 2017, Watters became a co-host on The Five, a political talk show with a panel format that airs on Fox News in the United States. This show is mostly made up of 5 people talking about current events. These people sometimes have right-wing views and sometimes have left-wing ones. Dana Perino and many other hosts joined Watters, and he quickly became the face of the show because of his honest and tough-minded views and his sharp, sometimes mean-spirited wit. Jesse Watters became an important part of the evening's political talks when he started showing up more often and when people said nice things about him on the show. Because of his job on the show, Watters was able to connect with both left and conservative political commentators more easily. In this way, it strengthened his position as the main source at Fox News. He was given a big raise in January 2022. A show called Jesse Watters Primetime airs daily at 7 p.m., and he became her host. Since the beginning, he had been a regular guest on the show, sharing his thoughts on current events and politics, usually from a far-right point of view. He talked about a lot of different things, which showed his support for the America First plan and his critical coverage of media and cultural struggles. Watters' style during his primetime was just an extension of the funny, tough, and sometimes unpopular work he had already done. It quickly became one of the most popular Fox News shows, spreading the daily news and opinions of a large group of millions of people. During primetime, Watters became even more well-known, and he was seen as a great right-wing television figure. His first book, How I Saved the World, came out in 2021 and quickly became a New York Times hit. Watters' book is a mix of autobiography and political commentary. He tells stories from his work and talks about how he sees American politics right now. His book shows how strongly he feels that traditional, modest, and conservative values are being attacked by unknown, shadowy groups that want to shut down the country and make him look like a fighter for old values. What a big change in Waters' job it was when Fox News announced in June 2023 that he would be the permanent host of the 8 p.m. Time. This time slot was one of the first shows Tucker Carlson, one of the network's most controversial and powerful hosts who was fired earlier that year, showed. Carlson's leaving was one of the main reasons for the big change at Fox News, and Waters' approval as Carlson's replacement was a clear sign that he had won over the network's leaders. Some people think that Jesse is leaving Fox News now. Jesse is leaving. People all over the media were shocked when Jesse Waters said he was leaving Fox News, a network where he had built a big presence over many years. His quick departure marked the end of an era for Fox News and left many people wondering why he did what he did. He was one of the most well-known and controversial figures on the network. Fox News had been through a lot of trouble in the years before Waters left. The way the network covered the 2020 U.S. presidential election was a big point of contention. Before any other major network, Fox News was one of the first to call Arizona for Joe Biden on election night. This made many Trump fans angry and is said to have caused problems within the network. Many conservative viewers who were used to Fox stories being more pro-Trump were angry that the network announced Biden's win before other news sources. This anger was made worse by the way Fox News covered controversial events like the COVID-19 outbreak. When the network talked about pandemic policies like lockdowns, mask laws, and vaccines, it often went against what the federal government and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said was best for public health. A few Fox News hosts were more hostile and doubtful of the government's efforts to help during the pandemic, while others were more careful. Reports say that these differences caused tensions within the network, causing a split among its on-air stars and leadership behind the scenes. In recent years, one story that has stuck around about Fox News is that there is a growing ideological split within its ranks. While Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham and other hosts on the network took more and more extreme views on political and cultural issues, others, like Bret Baier and Chris Wallace before he left, were seen as trying to strike a more moderate or standard journalistic tone. These differences didn't just affect the people who were on TV, they also affected Fox News' editorial direction and management as a whole. Jesse Waters was in the middle of this split. His shows often sided with the more controversial and right-wing parts of the network. In terms of both style and content, they were similar to those of Carlson and Ingram, but it was also clear that the network's changing patterns were making things difficult. Some people thought that Waters, who had been loyal to Fox for a long time, might have been unhappy with the fights within the network over its direction. There were also rumors that Fox News executives wanted to change the network's image after the 2020 election and the ongoing legal problems it was having, such as defamation cases over election misinformation. Fox might have thought about backing away from some of its more controversial personalities and shows to avoid more legal trouble and damage to its image. This may have played a part in Waters' choice to leave, since he may have seen the changing corporate strategy as going against the way he writes. Along with disagreements within the company, Fox News was also coming under more and more criticism from outside sources. A lot of people didn't like how the network helped spread false claims about widespread voting fraud in the 2020 election, which led to multiple lawsuits. Dominion Voting Systems was one of the most well-known cases. The group sued Fox News for libel, saying the network told lies about its role in changing election results on purpose. There are legal fights going on around these claims, and the public in general is critical of Fox News. The network had to find a way to keep its right viewers while staying out of more legal trouble. This made it hard for many of the network's on-air personalities because they had to balance their words with the network's legal and reputational worries. Waters may have felt the pull of these different forces because she was one of the network's most well-known faces. His style, which often went into angry territory, could have hurt a network that was trying to stay out of more lawsuits. This might have played a part in his choice to quit Fox News, as both he and the network tried to keep their interests safe as the investigation grew. It's possible to see Jesse Waters' choice to leave Fox News as both a response to problems within the network and a reflection of his larger goals in the political and media worlds. Personal ambitious Waters built a big personal brand over the years that went beyond his work at Fox, giving him the chance to build a strong group of fans and watchers. So, his decision to leave could be seen as a smart move to increase his influence and look for new possibilities, whether they are in politics, consulting, or other types of media. This change in strategy is typical of a larger trend among well-known media figures who, after becoming famous on cable news, want to use their platforms to gain more freedom and control over their content and job paths. His rise at Fox News showed that he could connect with the network's core audience, especially through his unique mix of humor, populism, and conservative opinion. Even though Waters did very well at Fox News, it was clear that he was looking for ways to grow beyond the network. Waters hinted in interviews and public events that he might branch out into other types of media, like podcasts or digital streaming platforms. In the past few years, the media landscape has changed quickly thanks to the rise of independent platforms. This has given famous people new ways to reach more people without being limited by traditional television news. Moving into podcasting or streaming may have seemed like a great idea for someone like Waters, who already had a big following of fans. These formats let you change and shape material in more ways, without having to follow the rules set by a big company like Fox News when it comes to editing. In addition, these platforms have a lot of money-making possibilities. Some previous cable news hosts, like Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly, were able to make the switch to independent media and build successful businesses around their shows. It's possible that Waters saw a similar chance to take charge of his brand and reach more people in ways that he couldn't do at Fox News. Conservative commentators who want more freedom are becoming more and more interested in independent media sites like Substack, Rumble, and Patreon. These platforms let content makers connect with their fans and make money from their work by charging for subscriptions, showing ads, or accepting donations. The move to independent media could be seen as a way for Waters to build a more stable and self-directed career. Her well-known and loyal fan base would ensure a large and loyal user base. By making a podcast or becoming active on a streaming service, Waters could also talk about politics and culture in a more direct and comprehensive way. Fox News gave him a chance to say what he thought, but there were company rules, time limits, and concerns about network-wide messaging. If Waters switches to a podcast or an independent digital show, he might be able to do longer interviews, discussions, and commentary that are more true to his ideas. With podcasting and streaming, Waters could also take advantage of the fact that media can be consumed on multiple platforms at once. He could promote his work on social media, grow his audience on YouTube or Rumble, and maybe even get ads or sponsors to work with him. Influencers and commentators have more power over their finances in this new media age. Waters probably saw this as a chance to further his larger goals. People have thought that Waters might move on from working in the media to working as a political consultant or activist. During his time at Fox News, Waters became known for strongly supporting populist conservative ideas. He often fought for things like limited government, free speech, and criticizing woke society. In his political writing, he often repeated the talking points of well-known conservative leaders, and he was very vocal about his support for Donald Trump while he was president. Because Waters has a lot of ties in conservative politics, it's possible that his leaving Fox News could mean he'll be getting more involved in politics directly. He could use his position to help Republican candidates shape political messages or push for certain policies. Political advice can be very profitable, especially for people like Waters who are good with the media and people. Because he can write messages that appeal to conservative voters, he could be very helpful to Republican campaigns that want to get the base excited. Waters could also become a political activist or a spokesman for a number of conservative causes. In today's political climate, a lot of people who used to be in the media have become activists. They use their fame to push for change or change people's minds about topics that matter to them. Because Waters is well known and has made his political views clear, he might be in a good position to lead or support conservative groups. The fact that Waters is leaving Fox News shows how the cable news business is changing as a whole. Traditional cable news networks like Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC are facing more and more competition from independent creators and new media sources as more people get their news and entertainment from digital media and streaming platforms. Waters' exit is a high-profile example of a growing trend among media stars who want to take advantage of the freedom and money-making opportunities that digital platforms offer. It is a big deal for Fox News that Waters is leaving, as it marks the exit of yet another well-known figure at a time of problems within the company and scrutiny from outsiders. And Waters was one of the network's growing stars. His departure could leave a hole in the network's schedule, especially since other big hosts, like Tucker Carlson, have already left. Fox News might need to change how it does things to keep its viewers in a media landscape that is always changing. It's clear that Jesse Waters' choice to leave Fox News was a strategic move, likely meant to give him more freedom and influence in the next part of his career, especially since more conservative voices are trying to break away and start their own platforms. Waters is in a great position to make money off of his fame and experience in the media, whether he decides to try new things like podcasting and streaming, become more involved in politics or action, or do a mix of these things. This move is in line with larger trends in politics, and the media well-known commentators want to take more control of their brands, interact directly with their audiences, and make money from their material through their own platforms. Waters has built a strong personal brand and a loyal fan base. This next stage could give him the freedom and chances he wants, beyond what you can find on regular TV news. Fox News has lost a big star with Jesse Waters' exit. What the exit of Jesse means. When Jesse Waters left Fox News, the network lost a popular and well-known host. It also took a bigger symbolic hit to its character in the years after Trump. With Waters, the network had made a special place for herself in the schedule, becoming an important voice that a lot of conservatives could relate to. People had strong feelings about him because he was rude and argumentative, and he was not afraid to talk about controversial topics or break the rules. This made him a controversial figure, but Fox News fans loved his honest political commentary. His departure left a big hole that would be hard for the network to fill, both in terms of watchers and people who agreed with its views. After Donald Trump was elected president in 2016, Fox News went through a lot of changes. This was because Trump's impact on politics caused a lot of changes in the political world. Fox News had to change its shows to reflect the new facts of populist conservatism, a movement that had been sparked by Trump's presidency and was very popular with Fox News viewers. A lot of biting commentary and sometimes rude humor fit right in with this new age. In the years after Trump left office, Waters' fame grew, especially as the network tried to figure out its place in a world where Trump loyalty and support for America First conservatism were seen as key tests for politicians and media figures. It was at this point that Waters stopped being just a critic. He had the tone and attitude that characterized a lot of Fox News shows after Trump left office. He never felt bad about being aggressive when defending conservative values, and he never shied away from getting involved in culture war problems. This made him more and more in line with the network's base's priorities. Waters was different from many other Fox News shows because he could talk about politics while also making people laugh. His shows, like The Five with a group of guests and Jesse Waters Primetime, which he hosted by himself, had a mix of funny, shocking, and political content. People who were tired of more standard news formats liked this mix because it had personalities who could entertain as well as inform. Waters' unique style was shown in his man-on-the-street interviews, which were a big part of his early work on the O'Reilly Factor. Humorous, often rude, and meant to be offensive. These segments were meant to show what Waters thought were the stupid or ignorant ideas of liberals, and they did well with viewers who liked material that made fun of the political left. His segments went viral, solidifying his image as a person who was not afraid to confront and make fun of different points of view in a way that was sometimes jarring. This skill of balancing serious political problems with humor was very helpful for Fox News. Waters had mastered the art of making material that people would eagerly watch and share in a time when short clips that can be shared on social media are becoming more and more common. His commentary style, which included fun, conflict, and sound bites, was just what the network needed to stay on top in a media world that changes quickly. When Fox News lost someone like Waters, who had become associated with this kind of programming, they lost not only a popular host, but also a way of doing things that had worked really well to get and keep people. Both the tone and the content of the show were missing after he left, and it would be hard to find someone else who could blend humor and political criticism in a way that connected so well with the audience. Fox News would have a hard time replacing Waters because of the unique part he played in the network's primetime lineup. A new group of right media stars had learned how to do well in today's political climate, which is dominated by extreme partisanship and social media. His shows, both as a host on The Five and in primetime, had a lively, heated atmosphere that a lot of Fox watchers liked, especially those who were inspired by the rise of conservatism under Trump. Many people on the right were upset about things like political correctness, cancel culture, and what they saw as the media's leftist bias, and Waters was good at playing on those feelings. In the years after Trump, these issues have become very important to right media. And Waters had a special way of expressing and amplifying those complaints in a way that made people really feel them. People who liked strength and fighting against progressive ideas believed in him because he took a strong, no-compromise position on these issues. According to Fox News, it would not be easy to find someone with this unique mix of traits. The network would need someone who could not only talk about the same issues with the same amount of sarcasm and energy, but also walk the fine line between controversial commentary and ridicule, which Waters often did very well, even if it sometimes led to backlash. When he left, a hole was left that would need more than just a good host to fill. It would take someone who knew what the Fox News audience was feeling after Trump took office and could successfully connect with their worries, fears, and anger, just like Waters did. Waters' exit also showed how Fox News had changed over time as it dealt with problems from both inside the company and from outside competitors. The network had been the clear leader in conservative television for a long time. But new networks like Newsmax and One America News Network, which marketed themselves as less censored and more loyal to Trump, have been a threat to it in recent years. Plus, there were rising ideological gaps within Fox News between more traditional conservatives and those who supported the populist hardline style that had come to define much of the right-wing media landscape after Trump. In many ways, Waters spoke for the nationalist side of Fox News and spoke directly to the people who want to make America great again. His style and content were a good example of how the network had changed to fit a political scene that was becoming more and more divided along cultural and political lines. So his leaving wasn't just about losing a popular show. It meant the death of a person who had become a sign of the network's growth during a time when American politics were changing quickly. When Waters left, it made people wonder where Fox News would go from here. Would the network keep focusing on the angry, populist style of analysis that Waters had shown, or would it try to soften its tone in answer to pressures from inside and outside the company? Fox has already been through a lot of changes since Trump left office, with high-profile employees leaving and shows changing. With Waters' departure, the network's future path became even less clear. Customers who watched Waters' shows were very faithful, and if he left, people who had come to trust his voice might not like it. In the media landscape after Trump, conservative audiences tend to follow their favorite personalities across platforms. For example, Megyn Kelly and Glenn Beck both went on to start their own media outlets after leaving Fox News. Waters' following, which has grown stronger over the years as he built his personal brand, could potentially follow him to new projects, whether they are in podcasting, streaming, or political activism. This made it more likely for Fox News to lose not only a show but also some of its main viewers. Now that people get their information in a lot of different places, they are more likely to follow celebrities on multiple platforms than to stick with a single network. The long-term effects of Waters' leaving would depend in part on how well Fox News could keep his viewers and find someone else who could offer similar content with the same level of interest and energy. What would happen to the Five show now that Jesse Waters is gone? There is talk about the future of Water. When Jesse Waters left Fox News, it raised a lot of questions about what would happen to The Five, the talk show where he had been a regular co-host. Fox News' The Five was one of its most popular shows, mostly because of how well the hosts got along with each other. Waters played a big part in that combination, and he often spoke out as a strong conservative against the more moderate or left panelists. His disappearance would have changed the tone and balance of the show. People were curious about how Fox News would handle this change. There was more to Waters' role on The Five than just his political ideas. He brought energy and a different point of view to the conversations. His lively and sometimes heated style made the discussions more interesting. He could make a big difference in how the show works without him, and fans might feel like something important was missing. This made me wonder who else could fill his place, and if they could find someone new who had the same spark and energy. Waters' choice to leave Fox News could have an effect on the media world as a whole, not just The Five. Since he was a well-known personality on one of the most popular news networks, his leaving could cause other shows to change or even rival networks to change their schedules. After leaving, Waters had built a strong personal brand that could help him find new work in the media business, whether it's in streaming, podcasting, or some other type of media. Other media figures might be inspired by his move to try new things outside of standard cable news. After it was announced that Waters was leaving, rumors about what he would do next spread quickly. Because he was so well known and had a lot of fans, it didn't look like Waters would quit all media work. Many people thought he would move on to another conservative news source, and some even said he might do what other former Fox News hosts have done and go to stations like Newsmax or OAN. Others thought that Waters might try to start his own independent media brand. To stay in touch with his fans, he might start a podcast or digital show. People also said Waters might be interested in jobs outside of standard media, like political commentary or activism. Because he is well known among conservatives and can connect with populist groups, he could be very helpful in political campaigns or advocacy work. With Jesse Waters' leaving Fox News, a big change happened in both his job and the network's history. Even though no one knows for sure why he quit, it is clear that Fox News had been going through a rough patch with both internal and external pressure, which may have played a role in his decision. Waters had been an important part of Fox for a long time, working to make it a conservative channel that got a lot of viewers. Whether he left because of problems within the company, legal problems outside the company, or a desire to explore new possibilities, his departure leaves a big hole in the network's primetime lineup at a time when the media landscape is still changing. People who really like Waters will be paying close attention to what he does next. He will continue to have an impact on conservatives whether he stays in the media, runs for office, or creates a new career path. Meanwhile, Fox News will have to deal with the effects of losing yet another well-known host. This shows that the network is still having a hard time adapting to a media landscape that is becoming more divided. If you liked this video, please click the next button and share it with your friends.